In a moment, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you just to, this is a bit of an experiment. This is for the assistance really of everyone else. I want you to try and narrate from the inside what's happening, what kind of thoughts you're having, right? So I'd like you to place your hand, whichever one kind of lifted up, I want you to place that on your leg, just like you did a moment ago. Okay? And just close your eyes for me. That's right. We've all had an experience of learning something new, and we can all learn something by watching Kyle here. And we've all had an experience of taking ideas on board when you're feeling comfortable. And as I speak to you, Kyle, an interesting thing is going to begin to happen. In a moment, that hand is going to begin to lift up. It's going to begin to lift up. I don't want you to lift it consciously. I want you to have the experience of it lifting automatically. And again, just be aware of what's going through your head as I'm talking to you. You can feel it shaking, and the harder you try and keep it steady, the more it's going to move. I want to be absolutely clear. I want you, Kyle, to try and keep that hand still and find you cannot. And if you're actively trying to keep it still, nod your head. Good. Now, in a moment, for some unknown reason, it's going to start to move towards your head. And that is going to fill you with this feeling of well-being, an unusual sense of well-being. You're going to begin to feel absolutely amazing. And we're allowed to smile. So it's going to start to seem funny to you, but in the right way. It's going to get close to your face. It's going to get funnier and funnier. When it touches your head, it's going to remind you of something absolutely hilarious. And it's going to be like you're there once again, experiencing that laughter once again, seeing what you saw, hearing what you heard, and feeling what you felt. That's right. Only this time it's 100 times funnier. You abandon as you laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. And you know, the really funny thing is, your hand's stuck to your head. You try and pull it off now. Now, you know, let's not be silly here. Reach up with your other hand and try and pull it off. Yeah, even that one's behaving strangely, but grab hold of your wrist and pull as hard as you can. You're a strong man. Pull as hard as you can, because that hand is going to stick to your other hand. And you can even open your eyes and look at them as if they're somebody else's hands. Right? Imagine that. Imagine you don't even recognize these hands anymore. Are they your hands? Are they? I'll tell you what, if I clap, you'll be able to pull them off. And when you pull them off, you're going to pull your name out of your mind. It will be gone just for a time. There we go. Are they your hands? Weird, isn't it? What was your name? I'm Anthony. You are? Yeah. You know what? In a moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clap. And your hands are going to look and be the hands of a robot. Tell me what you can see. You can speak to me.
Gray.
Yeah?
Gray.
Right. Okay. In a moment, I'm going to clap again. Your hands are going to unstick, drop down. You're going to remain in the chair, but you're going to drop into a profoundly deep state of hypnosis. Whatever it is you imagine that to be, you're going to go there. Let go. Let go. Let go of all the tension. Understand you are in control of this. You and your imagination, your capacity to do this. That's right. So from today, understanding this is a skill that you've been blessed with, just like some people can sing and some people can dance. This is a skill that you have. Whenever you wish to use self-hypnosis, anytime it's safe and appropriate for you to do so, all you need to do is sit quietly, hear the word relax 4 times in your mind. And the 4th time you can return to this state of mind where you can experience deep recuperation just from going there. And it's almost like you're in the perfect state of mind for making change. I know you can do this, and you will remember how to do this. So in a moment, I'm going to reorientate you fully. I'm going to just ask you to just talk us through some of what you were experiencing as that happened, some of the thoughts and the feelings, and whether you were imagining a means that was making that happen, like when your arms were lifting. And you'll find that you can articulate this, no problem. So on 5, you're going to be back in the room, wide awake, alert, refreshed, revitalized. So 1, feeling wonderful. 2, imagine a surge of energy coming in through those fingers of yours. Yes, your hands are your hands. Of course, you know your name. 3, take a deep breath. Feel your chest up, energy giving oxygen, Kyle. Refreshed and revitalized. 4, your head washed through. And 5, eyes open, eyes back to normal, wide awake. Back in the room, yeah. There we go. Hey, Kyle, how you doing?
Good, really good.
Good, man. You can keep all those good feelings. So apparently we can learn by watching someone experience that and also getting some inside of you. So if it's possible, you know, where did that start for you?
As soon as I heard you say my name.
Okay. So as soon as I say your name, what does that mean? You go into a certain mode, or you're having certain thoughts?
I knew something was about to happen, and I wanted it to happen.
Okay.
So I just allowed it to happen.
Very good. So there's some important words there. I wanted it to happen, and I allowed it to happen. I think lots of us want it to happen, but we don't quite know how to allow it to happen. Right? So they're important words. So then I ask you to place your hand on your leg. You know how I work, so you probably had some expectation of where this was going to go in the exercise we did before. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, as soon as the hand touched the leg, it wants to do it right now. It's almost like there's like some kind of construction machine with a long line that starts pulling it upwards, little bits at a time. I almost imagine like a crew of little construction guys turning gears and.
Right. So there we go. So the point is that Kyle can imagine stuff. He can find his own way. Yeah. It's not like it has to be my magnets or my balloons or my air. It doesn't matter. And what the research suggests is that if we insist upon a means, so again, just to be clear, there's the goal, your hand will lift, and there's the means that could make that happen. And, I've been guilty of this where we're so carried away with the means we're describing, 100 balloons, 1,000 balloons, 10,000, that actually we've lost them. So it's about giving a little bit of space for that to happen. And Kyle has his own feeling because it lifts up in this kind of jerky kind of manner that's provoked his imagination to kind of come up with something, right? So then we got to the point where I challenged you. And I know you're familiar with some of this language now, but I tried to mean what I said. I said, I got to make it clear. I want you to try and keep that hand still. So tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, that was really fun. I tried as hard as I could. I actually felt my biceps and shoulders tightening and trying to force, and then the little guys in the construction crew worked even harder.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so the point is, Carl's response to that is a good one because he's making effort, right? I mean, he's only fighting against himself, which is inevitably going to make this kind of movement. But many of us have given up. Many of us abandon ship. We don't rise to the challenge because we've given in to thoughts of it not kind of working, right? So finally, well, there's a couple more things. I said, pull that name out of your mind. I didn't necessarily say you'd forget it, but you seem to find that funny. So what happened there? I said, I'll clap. You're going to pull that. Your arms will drop down, and you'll pull that name out of your mind. Did you have thoughts like, does that mean I can't say it, or what?
I don't remember that part so much because the name amnesia I can see my name, but then it's just funny that it's almost like, well, I don't want to say it. But then when I try to say it, I just laugh more.
Right. Okay. Right. So again, this is a good insight from the inside, because when we're watching someone get hypnotized, especially if we're watching stage hypnosis and amnesia, and someone has name amnesia or something, from the outside looking in, it's easy to think, well, there's only one answer to that. He doesn't know his name. He cannot remember his name at all. But what Kyle said is actually what most good subjects say. Of course I know my name. It's right there. Of course. And when I try and say it, often they say things like, it just wouldn't register. It just wouldn't come out. I just found it funny. I don't know. I just couldn't get round to saying it. They're not saying, no, it was lost and gone forever. Didn't have a clue. They tend to say what Kyle said. And when I first heard that helped me massively as a subject. The same with hallucinations, right? There are a series of experiments where they measure people's responsiveness. I guess Kyle would be, high as opposed to low. And they asked the lows to pretend. They said the experimenters don't know who's low and who's high. And they asked them to just act out all of the suggestions. The real part of the experiment was after the subjects thought the experiment was over, and they were being interviewed. Okay. So it was the post hypnosis piece, and they were being interviewed by the experimenters. So they said, what was it like when you couldn't remember your name? And all of the people who were faking said, in keeping with the part they'd been playing, was, I couldn't remember my name at all. It was completely gone. I had no clue. And the highly responsive people said something more like what Kyle said, right? It was a yes, but I couldn't say it. Yes, but it wouldn't come out, right? And it's the same with hallucinations. So I don't quite know if you hallucinated there when you looked at your hands. Did you hallucinate?
I was really excited about that because I wanted to see, old school robot hands from the 60s. But what I saw instead was they turned gray, like I was wearing some cheap robot gloves from a Halloween costume. And which made it even more funny to me because that was not what I wanted, but it was even more ridiculous.
Okay, so this is good, right? So the point is, if I'd been saying, and what are they like? And I'd been pushing Kyle, he would have said, they're these weird, cheap grey hands, he's laughing at them. So I want you to reflect on that moment again. I'm going to ask you another question, which is, were they real gloves?
No, because it was almost like I could see my real hands through these somewhat transparent robot gloves.
Well, I'm so glad that you said that, right? Because again, this is the classic response from a highly responsive person who hallucinates. What they tend to describe, in fact, there's a phrase that comes up, is a semi-transparent reality. Oh, I can kind of see my hands, but it kind of I still could kind of describe, you know, was it a real dog? Well, it wasn't a real dog, but it was kind of, it was still looking at me. I could tell it like it was looking for the food. So again, when I heard that, it was like, oh, I had it all wrong. I was expecting hallucinations to be rock solid, you know, but the reality is they're not. Even most, you know, even the hallucinations we can scare ourselves with, you know, it tends to be a kind of semi-transparent reality. So thank you, Kyle. I'm sure everyone appreciates you sitting in that chair and taking part there. I certainly do. We'll work on those robot hands. We'll turn you into Robocop in no time. Don't you worry.
Thank you.
All right. Okie dokie. So I'm going to cancel that spotlight video. That's what it's like on the inside. So if you're a subject and you're thinking, it's not lifting, it's not lifting, it's not lifting,